Hey guys, welcome back to class. So today we're going to cover altcoins. Now, the other day I mentioned that we are going to cover a handful of different things over the course of a handful of short videos. Altcoins were second on the list. First we did blockchain and Bitcoin. Now we're doing altcoins. Then I'm going to give you some real world use cases of other types of altcoins that are outside of what Ethereum does. And then lastly, I'm going to cover some crypto gaming stuff just because that's really relevant right now and is exploding as a trend all over the world. So again, this is video number 2 about altcoins. So what are altcoins? Well, originally altcoin or alternative coin was meant to be anything other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the only kind of sacred one that used blockchain technology, and then everything else was alternative. Well, what's happening now is that Ethereum is so well recognized and also has so many different use cases. It has so many different things that are already built on top of this huge platform that it's hardly an altcoin anymore. Its market cap is huge. It's been growing faster than Bitcoin's been growing. So it's definitely not an altcoin anymore. It's definitely in the mix and it's here to stay. So the thing about Ethereum is that it does have a few issues because it was first to market. I'm going to cover that here in a bit. But why are altcoins important? Well, the idea that a lot of different problems can be solved using different types of technology on blockchain are actually the reason that altcoins are created. Because again, Bitcoin was just meant as a financial instrument, but there are so many different things ranging from voting to logistics, on and on and on, that have better solutions than our current systems that can all be more well orchestrated on blockchain, that all of those are in the altcoin world. And I'm going to cover some of those in the third video. So Ethereum, why was Ethereum such a big deal and why was it so important? Well, it was the first smart contract platform. Now, when I say smart contract, what I mean by that is that you've got two sides or three, and basically they say, if this happens, then this happens. So if I fill my part of the deal, then this other side fills their part of the deal. And it basically is a contract among people or among computers, whatever the case may be, that if this part is satisfied, then this part has to be satisfied. Because once you get a set of rules that can work in this decentralized environment that again can be trusted yet anonymous, and now we've got this set of rules to work on. So now what new ideas can say is that I'm going to come and build on your platform. You've got the rule set. I can take that rule set, these if-then statements, and solve a different problem with it. So people started bringing their ideas over to Ethereum and basically saying, I want to build this on your blockchain. This is a great idea. Let me start using your programming language and start building on there. And so that was the beginning of this whole idea that all these altcoins had all these solutions for all these different things. However, I call it a lot of times the BlackBerry of layer ones. And by layer one, I simply mean it's the platform coin. It is the foundation, because now there are other layer ones that basically are solving things in different ways than Ethereum did to kind of prove this concept. But I call it the BlackBerry of Ethereum layer ones, simply because the same as the BlackBerry phone was fantastic as one of the first smartphones out there. At the same time, we would look at a BlackBerry now, and then we would look at our iPhone or our Galaxy, whatever, and we would say, well, this BlackBerry is like a dinosaur. Like, it has all these problems that these other newer phones are so much better at. Well, that's the same thing that happens with Ethereum. The problems with Ethereum right now are that it only can do so many transactions per second. It's a pretty low number of transactions per second. So with all of these projects building on it like a root system, having all these different transactions that they need to move up this blockchain, basically that causes everything to be a bottleneck and it causes things to be slow. Now you can make your transaction move through there faster, but you're going to pay a higher gas fee or a higher fee to get that done because it can only move so fast. Well, that's the problem with Ethereum, is it's pretty slow, and now it's really costly to do these transactions. So it's not going to be worth it to do lots of different transactions that aren't worth the amount that it would cost to do the transactions, which can range anywhere from tens of dollars to hundreds of dollars to do one transaction. It was a great proof of concept, and sometimes on huge transactions, the $100 doesn't make any difference, but for most people, they're not going to have any use for that, or they're not going to be able to use it really at all. So that actually is a real issue with Ethereum. They're looking to fix that. It definitely is one of its main problems, but it's definitely not fixed yet. So the other thing that Ethereum allowed for was a proof of concept that basically digital property can be owned. Like I can have something called a non-fungible token or an NFT. It's there on the blockchain. It says it's the only one that exists of that, and it says that it's in the property of this wallet. Like, it specifies everything. So now that we have digital property, we can now build all sorts of different concepts on just that basic premise of that digital property exists. It's provable. It's not that there aren't fakes. Like, that's a really big deal. So Ethereum did a great job in doing that, although now some other things are doing that better. So most altcoins are what we call proof of stake, and this is versus proof of work. So like I mentioned in the video before, there is always some way of governance or some set of rules that allows transactions to be processed, and that everything, it knows that it's fair and it's done the way that it's supposed to. Well, with proof of work, that's done by like what Bitcoin does. It has all these different networks and all these different nodes that are doing all these computations. So it's the computers that are doing the work. That can actually be very timely, expensive. It can also use a lot of electricity. If you hear some of the arguments about things needing to be more green in that type of an atmosphere compared to all the energy usage that happens with Bitcoin, well, there is a fair amount of energy usage with a proof of stake or proof of work network, but that's not at all with a proof of stake network. Instead of the computers doing the work, with a proof of stake network, meaning if I own a bunch of the tokens of that particular network, I can choose to stake them or basically lend them back to the network. They hold on to it. I become a voter on that decentralized system, and now it allows people to essentially in a decentralized way to have a state of governance, because all these people are completely separate nodes, thousands of people, separate nodes. So you're going to make sure that you get honesty at the same time as you can, so you can be trusted, and at the same time it gets completely decentralized. And it also doesn't cost very much, because instead of a bunch of computers doing the work, it's just on a simpler voting system, and it's based on just individuals having stake, and as much coins invested or staked, they're the ones that actually help make the decisions, and that actually goes a lot faster with confirmations than a proof of work system would do. So that's proof of stake versus proof of work. There are some other altcoins that use a proof of work system, but not very many, because proof of stake is much faster, it's much cheaper, and that was something that didn't really exist at the time when Ethereum was first getting started. Due to the different bottlenecks that Ethereum has now and the great cost for doing transactions, they're in the process right now of switching their entire framework and all of their programming language over from a proof of work network to now becoming a proof of stake network, which will be Ethereum 2.0, which is another huge deal. They said it was coming now for a while, but it's an enormous project to literally move billions and billions of dollars in different funds and all these different projects to be able to communicate with each other, to move from a proof of work network over into a proof of stake network. But that's what you're going to find in altcoins, a lot more proof of stake. So again, altcoins, anything outside of basically Bitcoin and Ethereum. But what you're seeing now too is that so many of these other networks that are altcoins are having such success in such newer, better ways of doing things. I think that instead of just being that primary Bitcoin and Ethereum being at the top, we're gradually going to see more and more different coins out there that are solving the same problems cheaper, faster, and it's going to not be so much money only in the top few coins. It's gradually going to be spread across many different coins to solve all those different problems. So that's altcoins in a nutshell.